What would Dusty think knowing that Cody is going to get his moment in a couple of months? WrestleMania 39 might be the biggest one ever here in Los Angeles.
Man, I can't. Yeah, I mean, like he would be literally walking on clouds, which he is right now. I mean, I don't really feel many people knew Dusty Rhodes better than I did. And he was like the consummate, super positive guy. And there was a lot of things that happened around him when he was booking and writing storylines for different people. It was tough. Dusty always had the highest level of, that positivity, like he really did. And for Cody to have left the company, and he wasn't being asked to leave, he was making super huge money for a regular person, ridiculous money, but he walked away from it because they didn't see him here. They didn't see him in the main event at WrestleMania ever. So that's when you have to believe in you. And there's only one person that's got to believe in you, and that's you. And for him to walk away, and I was there that whole journey because I've been mentoring him since he was 12 years old. Don't really do it as much now. We just have conversations. But I did it in the beginning because of how much Dusty helped me. And then somewhere around 15, 16 years old, I started to really see this kid. It was all about him. I came back from LA twice to see him win the state championship. In the first year, he went undefeated. Dusty was right there with me. Both those, he was still alive, and he was not going to, like, there was times that WCW wanted him to do stuff, and he was like, no, D, I wasn't there when Dusty needed me at times. I'm going to be there for Cody. It wasn't, he felt so bad about that, but so good about what he did, his second chance with Cody and Teal. And he was a great human being, man. I always say without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page, period. It's going to be really emotional. It was, I went down to the Rumble just to see, and I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to be there and I want to watch. And the way they did that match at the Rumble was amazing. And setting this up with Roman Reigns, it's going to be so electric. Like the energy is going to it's going to go through the roof. To me, up till this point, my favorite Mania match was actually Rock and Hogan. I loved that match. I think you're going to see their own version of the best match on WrestleMania. You have to remember when those opening scenes of the resurrection of Jake the Snake, like he's not Jake. He's some guy who's waiting to die. And starting as the resurrection, I wanted to really focus on, him being able to walk away from the business with his head held high. And when we got to the end of it, he got in the Hall of Fame, which is so huge. But now the life he's living now is his best life ever. And that A&E can capture, it's like, who does biography them? Nobody.
DDP Yoga has been such a success, and that's a documentary for another day. But seeing what you've done to help some of your friends and your colleagues like Scott and Jake, how important is that to you? Because you've given back more than you can even imagine to your wrestling colleagues.
Well, you got to remember both of those guys. Without both of those guys and Kevin Nash, I don't have a career. Like those three guys were so instrumental, early on, especially Jake and Dusty. Like Jake and Dusty were my two mentors, but being able to help Jake and Scott, because if Scott doesn't take that diamond cutter in my NWO feud, it's a different career. if Jake doesn't reach out and believe in me very early on, like very early on, I don't have that. I don't have a Hall of Fame career. So I was always wanting to help Jake turn his life around. But everyone who thinks, oh, can you help this person? No, not till they're ready. Like Jake was waiting to die. And then he saw that disabled veteran video of that disabled veteran that we helped, Arthur Warman. And he asked me, he said, is this a shoot? Meaning, is it real? And he goes, it's not a work, is it? I go, no, it's real. This is he documented everything. He goes, okay, I'll give it a try. And that's what started it for me to, okay, I got him. Now I got to let him run a little bit and then pull him back in. And then later, Scott, like the reason I reached out to Scott, which I did numerous times, but he never answered the phone, but he answered the phone the night that Sean Waltman DM'd me on Twitter, and someone said, hey, you got a DM from Sean Waltman. And it said, D, I've seen what you've done with Jake. Amazing. Scott said he's got a gun, he's going to kill himself. Will you please reach out? Of course, I reached out right then. Jake was right there with me. And that was a moment. He never answered the phone for 10 years. That night he answered the phone. So there's a lot of God's work, involved in this to me, like perfect time to actually reach out and maybe make a difference.